Hello, and welcome to our first. Hello, and welcome to the first of our stories about the disciple Peter. We'll be having more of these stories over the next few weeks, and at the end of this month, on my other channel, Rod Geddes' channel, we'll be having a messy church on the same theme of Peter the disciple. Maybe you could go across there and join in. Peter's story. Hello, my name's Simon Bar Jonah. Yes, it's good to meet with you too. You want to know about how I met Jesus, how it all started? Well, that's quite a tale, and I must admit I wasn't exactly, well, you'll find out about it, won't you, when I tell you. Simon Bar Jonah, my father Jonah, Simon, son of Jonah. Now, we were all fishermen, and my father used to make a big joke out of this, being Jonah, of course, like the old tales in scripture. My father used to say, that Jonah was caught by a fish. This Jonah catches fish. And he always used to laugh. After a few times it got boring. After a lot of times, he just switched off, didn't he? But he was good. He taught myself and my brother Andrew all we knew about fishing, and that's a lot. And that's not boasting, it's true. Because that's what dads did. That's what they do. Of course, he's old now, and Andrew and I have the boats, a bit like our Uncle Zebedee, where sons James and John, our cousins, they've got the boat now. Any rate, enough of that. You wanted to hear about how I met Jesus. Well, you've probably heard some of the stories already, and maybe you've heard two separate stories because there were two separate stories flying around. But maybe the two separate stories were one story. Maybe, just maybe. Yes, you might have heard it too. Well, this is how I remember it. It was all to do with brother Andrew. Now, Andrew was a really hard worker. He was a good fisherman, just like me. But Andrew was a dreamer. He was looking for a better world. Trouble was, in those times, everybody was looking for a better world, but Andrew was looking for the better world, the world that the Messiah was going to bring, the promised one of God. I'm sorry. Sounds good, but I just did not believe it at all. No, not at all. And yes, I am cynical. No, I'm not actually, I'm practical. There were so many messiahs flying around the country at that time, promising this, promising that. Some of them had already been arrested by the Romans, and some of them had just been driven out of the villages, and because they were, what would you call them? Con men. Promise a lot, offer nothing. And incredibly, they need to be looked after financially, a lot of them. No, Andrew was looking for the Messiah, looking for something better. Then he got mixed up. He got mixed up with that John the Baptizer. He came to me one day and he said, Simon, I've got something to tell you. Well, I thought, he's met a girl, he's going to get married. No, not at all. I've met somebody, he said. I've met somebody that has changed my life. I looked at him. Who? I said, because he was serious. John. What John? I said. And he looked at me. Oh, no, you're joking, I said to him. You are joking. Not that madman that's out by the River Jordan. Not that one that dresses in camel skin and eats all the locusts and the honey. What an idiot. What's he doing out there? What? More to the point, what are you following him for? I'm not leaving the fishing, he said, but I want to be one of his disciples. I want to learn from him. Well, I looked at him. I thought, oh, you poor fool. You have really been sucked in, haven't you? Come on, I said. Why do you want to follow this one? And then he told me. He's different. He's very different. He doesn't promise anything. He says there's a promise to come. And he's just here to prepare us all for it, to tell us to turn to God, to make our lives better, and to be baptized. Oh, I said. So it's true, he does baptize people in the Jordan. Yes, it's a symbol, says Andrew. It's a symbol of a new start. It's a symbol that we turn to God and we want to be made clean and wait for the Messiah to come because he's here, you know. Oh, yeah, I said. Yeah, him and how many other messiahs? No, said Andrew. John says he's actually here. And John says that his job is to prepare the way for him. You know, like in Messiah. In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Oh, no, I said. Oh, anybody can quote scripture. No, said Andrew, it's true. Now we never spoke any more about it. But a few days later, Andrew came back. He looked very serious. But he also looked as if he wanted me to ask him something. So I asked him straight, Andrew, have you been baptized? Has that John put you in the Jordan and ducked you under? Well, he went bright red. Oh, he has, hasn't he? Yes, he has, said Andrew. Yes, he has. And furthermore, I feel different. Well, you'll be a bit cleaner for a start, I said to him. No, said Andrew. I feel different inside. And there was a look on his face. I thought, he has actually found something, something that means to him, something that has started to change his life. Well, a couple of days later, myself and James and John, cousins, we were sorting out the nets for our 2 boats. Now Andrew was nowhere to be seen. He left early in the morning. Got to midday, still no sign of Andrew. We'd almost finished the nets. We got the boats ready for the night. And then we see him running along the shore, shouting, waving his arms around. Well, the first thing, we all looked and we thought he's been chased, but there was nobody else there. He ran straight up to me. He grabbed me by the arm and said, come on, Simon. Come on, you've got to come with me. Why, I said. I met the Messiah. Oh, you met the Messiah, I said to him. You met the Messiah. Oh, come on, Andrew. Come on. But he was tugging at my arm. James and John were sort of sniggering. Come on, he says, come on. I've met the Messiah. How have you met the Messiah? Well, John pointed him out. He said to us, there was 2 of us there at the time, he says, that's him, that's Messiah. Go on, after him. So we did. So what happened, I said. Well, we followed him. Yeah, you just said that, I said. What happened then? Well, he suddenly stopped, said Andrew, and he turned round and he said, what do you want? Not, what do you want, but what do you want? I looked at Andrew. That's a funny way of saying it. Are you sure he didn't say, what do you want? No, said Andrew. He said, what do you want? Well, what did you say? I said to him. I didn't know what to say, said Andrew. I blurted out something like, we want to know where you live. I said, what a stupid thing to say. But, said Andrew, he just said, come on then. Just come on then, and we did. He said it in a way that was, well, we had to. And it was wonderful. We talked, he talked, we listened. It was fantastic what he said. Oh, Simon, it was wonderful. Oh, yes, all about God's love, and spoke about all the prophecies, and it was You've got to meet him, he said. Hang on, I said. Hang on a minute. Stop pulling me. There's dust everywhere. But he was pulling me. James and John were laughing. Bye, Simon, says one of them. Andrew pulled me along the shore, up some tracks. I thought this Messiah was just over the hill. Oh no. Oh no, half of an hour later, we arrived. There were a few people hanging around. There was the Messiah, according to Andrew. I was expecting somebody on a white horse, crowned, the sort of thing that the zealot's talking about, big sword. No. Just an ordinary Galilean bloke. Looked like us, dressed like us, because he was one of us. I said, crikey. Oh, can we stop now? That's him. Andrew was just going to say yes when he turned round. This Messiah, this Jesus, as Andrew called him. He looked at Andrew. He smiled. He looked straight at me and said, "You must be Simon." My eyes must have gone really wide. Andrew goes, "Ah." I looked at Andrew. "I never said anything. I never told him about you," said Andrew. He looked at me. He looked into me. More than looking into my eyes, looking into me. And it didn't feel threatening at all. "You're Simon, aren't you? I'm going to call you Peter." I don't remember much else. I'm going to call you Peter. A nickname. Peter, the Greek for rock. Rocky. Now I prefer our language. Kepha. Now that sounds like a rock. Kepha. Nice and hard sounding. Oh, I thought, all right. Yeah. But I don't remember much else. I remember the look. Then we went back. A couple of days later, we'd been out all night. It had been an awful night. It had been raining, it had been cold, it had been windy. We caught not one single fish. We pulled the boat up on the shore. We were tired, we were going to clean the nets out, and suddenly Andrew says, "Hey, look, he's coming." "Who's coming?" I said. "Jesus is coming." Well, he was coming, walking along the side of the shore, with a huge crowd following him. He walked straight up to Andrew and I, looked straight at me. He says, "Can I borrow your boat for a bit? Can you just pull me out onto the lake in your boat so I can talk to all of them?" For some reason, Andrew said, "Yeah, of course we can." Pulled me. "Come on, Simon," he said. "Come on, this is important." I was tired, but we pulled out a bit from the shore. I was almost asleep, actually. Put my hand over the side of the boat and just played with the water while Jesus was talking. And then I suddenly thought, this is something new. He started to make sense, this one. I listened. He must have moved me a little bit because I listened. That's the first preacher I've ever listened to. Ever. But there was something about him which was special. But did I actually believe it? Well, I don't know. I'm a cynic. Always was. When he'd finished, we started to row back to the shore. "Hang on a minute," said Jesus, in front of the whole crowd. What sort of night have you had?" "Terrible," I said. "Terrible. Ready for home. Why don't you pull out into the middle? Put your nets over the side see what happens. Now, I'm a good fisherman. I hate people telling me how to do my job. So I looked at him and said, we've been out all night. And in my best sarcastic voice, and Andrew looked appalled, I said, but if you say so, we'll do it. So we did. I thought, I'm going to show this one. I'm going to show him I'm the fisherman, not him, landlubber. So we pulled out into the middle of the lake. Put the nets over the side, just exactly where he saw us. Where he told us, sorry. And the next minute, the boat started to keel over. There were so many fish in the net. I couldn't believe it. In fact, I was in a panic, and so was Andrew. Jesus just sat there, just looking, watching us. Oi, he was shouting, oi, James, John, get out here, quick. So they came out, and the four of us, it took 4 of us to get that net ashore. I have never seen so many fish in a net in my life. And then Jesus turned to us. "You're fishermen," he said. "Come with me, and I'll make you fishers of men." And Andrew, and James, and John, and I got out of the boat, pulled them on the shore, and followed him.